Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back. Today I wanted to do a video that I've done before. I thought it would be fun to revisit because I found it to be a interesting concept last time. So this is reading the highest versus lowest books on my TBR for the month. I haven't done my entire TBR because that is like, I want to at least like read books kind of tailored towards this time of year, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to pick up Stalking Jack the Ripper or something. I had a little bit of a, not meh, but I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna get this done because I only picked 3 books for my TBR this month because I'm going on holiday at the end of the month, and my TBR was pretty dry and nothing was piquing interest, so I picked A Curse of True Love, which I'm already reading. Like I'm like halfway through that and I'm just like pausing it for a second to film this basically. And then I have Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes and The Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. Obviously this would not work because I would just be reading these 2 books. So what I am gonna do instead is I just bought a few new books, did a little bit of a book trip. I just bought Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Naturally had to buy that. Plot Twist by Bria Keenan. I haven't heard anything about this, but it was in the works and I don't know, it looks interesting. It looks like an Emily Henry book, which is definitely done on purpose, but it did pull me in. We have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams, and then we have How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. So yeah, we're gonna read 2 of those, the highest and the lowest rated based on Goodreads, and see what we think about them. Already done the calculations on what the ratings are. So we have Little White Lies is a 3.85, Goddess of the River is a 3.9, Reckless is a 4.14, which is actually higher than I expected it to be because I haven't heard like amazing things about that book, so I was expecting it to be a little bit lower. How to End a Love Story is a 3.74, The Rule Book is a 3.94, Plot Twist is a 3.58. Top book is actually Reckless, which again, kind of shocked by that because it didn't have the best reviews when it came out like just recently, but hey. And then Plot Twist, what was that, 3.58. This had like under 400 ratings compared to this had like thousands of ratings, so maybe that has something to do with it. But those are the 2 books that we're going to be reading. Very, very different. Like this is about a girl, she's a writer. She's just had a bunch go kind of wrong in her life, and then she got an invitation from another writer to go to Ireland for, I guess, like a writing holiday situation, and turns out he was a guy and she didn't expect him to be a guy, and I'm guessing they're gonna fall in love. I think this is giving romance, but also kind of women's fiction side of romance, you know, verging towards that, because it's giving Emily Henry. It's really trying to give Emily Henry, and there's something on the back that says perfect for fans of Emily Henry, and I feel like Emily Henry verges towards women's fiction. And then obviously Reckless, which is very different. Fantasy, romance. This is the continuation of Powerless. I have no idea what's going to go on in this book, but at the end of the last book, it was all going to shit, and I think we're going on a bit of a journey. Read these. I think I'm going to start with Reckless, I think. I am through 16 chapters. I'm on chapter 17, like 130-ish pages through, so I've made a significant start. You know, that's how I'm feeling, very much this. It's not bad by any means. Like, I'm not like having a painful time. I'm also kind of like stood here questioning what's really happened. Like, actual story wise, what's happened. Like, things have been going on. We've had a lot of back and forth, nearly catching, now I'm gonna run away, oops, you caught me again, oh my god, let's have a fight, now you can leave, we're gonna fight again in 5 minutes. We've had a lot of that. Like, there's been a lot of stuff, and there's been some, like, I guess, swoon-worthy moments, which aren't really, like, getting to me that much, because I'm just not that connected to this series. I don't know why, but I just don't care that much about Kai or Paden, which is a shame, but that's the truth. Yeah, but, like, actual, like, content story-wise, are we in any different spot than we were when we first started 130 pages ago? No. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about that. I really just resent the idea of like a middle book being like just bad, by nature of it being the conjoining book between the first one and the end. Like, if that's the case, then it should be a duology. You should remove the middle and just have the start and the end. If you have no like way of making the interesting anything more than just like dragging it out. Controversial take, I know. I feel like people who've been like defending this book, the only thing I've heard from them, not even defending, people who've been trying to be like, no, it's good, have basically just been saying, well, of course it's not as good as the first one because it's the middle book. It's like a conjoining book. Conjoin this. You can have a conjoining scenes and like boring parts that like make sense, you know, of all the interesting parts. You know, I get that not everything can be like all the time, but an entire book that's just like not. I mean, I'm talking out of turn because I haven't finished it yet, but so far I am getting the impression, if the book continues how it's starting, it's just a lot of like back and forth, not moving anywhere. You know what I mean? So like, I think it would be a lot more interesting to me, like this is kind of spoilery from the first book, so if you haven't read the first book, cut here. Kai and Paden like having this like cat and mouse, and him like fighting between like his feelings for her and also like having to like chase after her and like kill her basically at some point. If he loved his father, if he actually like didn't have all these conflicting feelings about his father, if him and his father had this great relationship and like kind of like Kit, if he had Kit's like reverence for his dad, that would be a lot more like, I would get it. But he just like, he knows that his father's a piece of shit. Like, we can see it coming a mile away that he's gonna get over that, you know what I mean? Like, he's already been like, am I really that mad at her for killing my dad? Like, I don't think so. Okay, so like, what are we doing? We're just waiting for you to decide like to get over it, because you don't actually care at all. You're just pretending to care because, I don't know, duty, whatever. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading. I really wanted to honestly like read this today, like just read it all day, but like it's not really giving me what I need to be able to do that. It's just not like, I am gonna have to pause and like go do other things, because I just can't sit and read it all day, because it's just not there. It's just not at that level for me. Just I really would love to finish it today. I just don't know if that's realistic, but we're gonna try our absolute best. Pink eyeshadow might not be a look. We might have to maybe not do that. Okay, I am over halfway through now, I think. Yeah, 212 pages, and this is under 400 pages. So again, thinking about the storyline, like, what have we accomplished? What have we done? Not really too much. Like, things are happening, obviously, like, things are happening, and it is, you know, I'm interested. I'm like invested is a strong word, but I'm like following. I'm like, okay, these people are trying, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. But like, if you actually think about where we start in the book to where we are now, not an actual thing has developed, you know? Like, things will happen and then something will happen which pushes right back to the start of the process of whatever we're doing, you know what I'm saying? So that's definitely interesting for that to be the case halfway through the book. something else which I think was a real misstep, I think, for Miss Lauren Roberts. Did they need to start kissing like 50, 100 pages in? No. Because if you're going to make them kiss and then straight after that, twice, if you're going to do this twice, if you're going to make them kiss and then straight after that have them go, that was a mistake that will never happen again, the final time our lips will ever touch, twice in 200 pages. Girl. And you want me to believe that these are like people that are trying to fight their feelings for each other? Are you in heat? What's the issue? If we had like tension actually building, because you can't build the tension if you keep making the kiss. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe that would be better, funner experience. I really don't have that much to say because like nothing's really happened. Like things are it's incredible how much is happening for nothing to happen, you know what I mean? But positive notes, I'm like having an okay time. Like I'm not like wanting to die reading it, you know what I mean? I am kind of listening to some of it. I did put the audiobook on. It's definitely better an experience like that. I don't know how the experience would be reading it. I don't know if I'd be able to get through that. Yeah, I'm not loving this pink eyeshadow actually. I think it makes my eyes look really green, but I just don't know if it works. Maybe it's the hair with the eyeshadow, I don't know. Like I don't really care because I didn't love the first book. I liked it, didn't love it, so I wasn't like highly anticipating this. But if I had like adored the first book, I would be disappointed so far. So sorry to those people. Okay, I've got more thoughts because like this is what I find kind of like confusing for me personally about the series, because there's like really what should be good moments, like in my opinion well written, like moments of like tension or like, you know, like the classic knife to the throat, like those kind of situations, like obviously move like a wide variety that should really hit, but for some reason don't. And I think what it is it's like we've got all the frosting and the sprinkles but no cake. Oh my god, by that I mean we've got all of like these like little like moments and like, you know, situations that would usually get you geeked, but there's not like the base plot like to actually like be a story. It's almost like just a series of one shots of characters that you really like. There's such thing as too much of a good thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like these what would be really good scenes don't hit because they're just every single scene is another like we almost kiss kind of moment. We do kiss, we are staring at each other very intensely, and now we're in a brothel and you have to pretend to be a whore in the brothel and sit on my lap. Okay guys, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. I cannot emphasize, I have 100 pages left of this book. I cannot emphasize how little we have progressed in the story. Like really and truly like it's actually kind of like crazy kind of shocking actually, genuinely, how little ground we have covered. This genuinely all could have been cut down to 3 chapters. Like genuinely. Now he's teaching her how to fucking ride a horse. I'm sorry. What is going on? Like, I am actually so confused. You're meant to be like capturing her to bring her back for your brother to potentially kill her. Like, for you to potentially kill her. That is what you are doing right now. And you guys are taking a break so you can teach her how to ride a horse. I finished Reckless moments ago. It is 20 to 8. I started this morning, read it in one day. I did utilize audiobooks, I will not lie, but I did also read some of it, so I didn't audiobook the whole thing. I think I definitely read like at least 60% physically. No, I'm sure I did. I'm sure. First things first, positives. I think this was like well written. I have no qualms with the book in just as a thing. I feel like there's a lot of pressure riding on it because it's coming off of the success of Powerless and like how much everybody loved Powerless. So there's a lot of pressure on this book. So you're going into it wanting it to match that. And I just don't think it did, which, you know, I don't know, because I hear people saying like, oh, it's a filler, it's an in-between, like it's a in-between, it's a filler book, blah, blah, blah. Is that good enough for me? No, not really. I'm sorry to say it. It's just not really good enough. There was a bit of a twist at the end. I did guess it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I did guess what the twist was going to be. I do think I was just being a bit silly in guessing that. Like, I was going like, oh, that's probably what's going to go. Like, that's not actually going to happen. Then it did. So I don't know what that means. I'm interested to see what the next book holds. I'm definitely interested to see what the next book holds. Me clutching at straws trying to find things to say nice. I feel like, but the thing is, I feel like I'm going to rate this like a 3-star because like I had an enjoyable reading experience. Like I enjoyed it. I just don't think it was that good. You know what I mean? Like I think the actual writing was fine, but I just think it was lacking plot. That's what it is. I think it was lacking plot. And like, if I'm being really, really truthfully honest, let's say the 3rd book was coming out tomorrow and I hadn't read this one yet, and I was like to someone who'd read this book, oh, can you just give me a quick synopsis of that book so I can just go to the 3rd one? You could tell me everything that I need to know to go to the next book in 1, maybe 2 sentences. That's not okay. I'm just like slightly gobsmacked about how little happened. It's almost funny. Really, honestly, truthfully, my favourite thing to come out of the Powerless series was Powerful, the novella. I really enjoyed it. It made me so emotional. I felt so attached to, what are the names? Adina and Mac. Like, crazy. Like, I would much rather see their story continue, but that's a personal preference. And that will never happen for reasons, naturally. Yeah, so the rating for this was what, like a 4.14, which is honestly shockingly high based on all of like the verbal and written reviews that I've heard and seen. That's kind of high. Although I've seen a lot of people like say how much they didn't love it and then be like, but I'm gonna rate it a 4-star because I love the series. I'm just like, okay. Next we have Plot Twist by Brig Keenan. Very, very different type of book. This is just like a romance, maybe a little bit women's fiction. 3.58, and there was only like, there was under 1,000 ratings on this one compared to like tens to 100,000 ratings on this one. So probably tens of thousands. So yeah, that's very different. We'll see what the comparison is. I took a day break from this video. I filmed a 24-hour reading video yesterday, and now we're gonna get straight back on it with our second book, Plot Twist. What was this? This was a 3.58, I think, Goodreads rating, which honestly isn't that bad. Like, I feel like anything between a 3.5 and a 4 is like probably a decent book. 4 and up is like, wow, that's pretty good for a Goodreads rating, considering like you'll have people like, you know, tank the rating. I haven't seen anybody read this, which sometimes is exciting, but then to be honest, sometimes it does put kind of like a negative, not a negative like impression, but it just makes me go in like already assuming that it's like not a good book because I haven't seen anybody read it. But that is just like not accurate at all. Like, this could be really amazing. So I'm gonna give it full chance. Let's just think of it like I'm going in and reading Emily Henry. Like, I keep saying Emily Henry because it looks like an Emily Henry, but let's just plot twist, Emily Henry's new book. If I put that in my head, I shouldn't be as judgy, like, mentally, because my brain tells me, okay, just get through it, like, just read it as quick as you can. No, you shouldn't be like that. You should be excited for this new opportunity to read a new book that could potentially be incredible. Where's my little, there it is. I'm literally 20 pages into the book. Also 5 chapters, so short chapters, which is a plus. And it starts like on the blurb, it says her best friend's just died and everything's falling apart, blah, blah, blah. That's like the premise. What we've just found out about the best friend, this is a really, really interesting development. I'm not going to tell you what, because it was kind of like, to have a little bit of a within 5 chapters is pretty, you know, unusual, so I'm not going to tell you what, but it's that thing of like, someone's who you care so much about and you know loves you, like you love so much and you know they loved you so much, did something really, really kind of wrong to you, like they've really kind of wronged you, and you don't even get the opportunity now to like express those feelings, hash it out, make up. You're just left with all this anger, but then also like guilt for feeling anger because they're gone, and like no way to like put that anywhere. Oh my god, that's like a lot, you know what I mean? That's really kind of an interesting thing to set up. I hope we really get into the complexities of those feelings, because so far the writing's pretty on the surface, like it doesn't feel that like deep, you know? Like her friend's she's just been at her friend's funeral and I wasn't getting like real, you know, any real emotion. I was just kind of getting a description of what was happening. So I hope we get into that. Guys, incredible progress we're making. I believe that this might be single dad. Really, really big news. So if that is the case, then it's a lucky day. Okay, I'm about 80 pages through? Yeah, 80 pages through, chapter 12. Again, chapter's very short. Very happy with the chapter lengths. We are in Ireland now. I met the guy. He seems really chill. He is good vibes, and also he is a male romance writer, which is an interesting concept. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of male romance writers, but unusual to see in a book, I guess, that being their job. I am liking it so far. He seems really nice. Like, he's not like a grumpy vibe. He's just like chill. So far, they're talking a lot about writing, which is interesting. I feel like a lot of times when you see authors in books, like the characters are authors, they don't actually talk that much about like the process of writing. And they're talking a lot about that, which is kind of fun. And also it's a nice dynamic because Riley's a romance author, and he's also like more established. Like he has an agent, he has a like a publisher, like he's pretty established. And Becca's just like, she's a primary school teacher and she wants to write children's books and like is writing children's books, but she's not got any kind of like representation or like foot in the door kind of thing, nothing like that. So it's like a nice dynamic there. Yeah, it's pleasantly surprising me so far. Roughly halfway through. It's going very quick. I'm having a really good time, really enjoying it. It's definitely like on a scale from like romance to like woman's general fiction, it's like in the middle, maybe a little bit more. Like there's a lot of like the fiction element. We're kind of just more focused on Becca as a character, like, and her life and her stuff, than like the romance of the two of her and Riley. But there are some like cute moments, but it's more of like he's like attractive, I fancy him, but like, oh, we're just friends kind of thing, you know? So it's not like out there. It's not gotten like deep into anything, like I was saying before. Maybe that'll come later, but I am enjoying it. We've not actually talked that much about her grief, Like, we've not really got, like, she'll bring it up, but you don't really, like, see it affecting other areas, which is strange thinking about it now, but I haven't really noticed it or, like, been bothered by it while I'm reading. So, yeah, I'm having a good time. This is, like, a, so far, a solid little book. I'm, like, surprised by how much it's, like, impressing me. I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but her best friend's kind of a dick. It might be have something to do, like, in the flashbacks, there's flashback scenes, and her best friend who passed, God rest her soul, seems like kind of a dick. But like I was about to say, it might have something to do with the fact that she's in a bit of a toxic relationship. I've known a friend or two turn into a bit of a dick in a toxic relationship, but I don't know, her ex-boyfriend, who they say on the back is, you know, back in her life and is annoying. I mean, he's not, like, my favourite person, but he seems alright. Like, he doesn't seem, like, evil, but... Well, no one seems evil, but it seems more like, you know... I don't think he's a bad person. I think it's hurt feelings type of thing. But her friend's kind of mean. Okay, I'm about to get ready for bed, and I only have, like, 50-ish pages left. But I just need to... Before we do final thoughts, like, while it's fresh on my mind, I need to talk about this. I really dislike the depiction of friendship in here, and I don't know if I'm just like people aren't perfect. I get that, and I think that what we're going for here is like that people aren't perfect and people can do things, like things aren't always what they seem. Like, it can look on the surface like it would be really bad, but when you actually understand what happened, I don't know, you get over people doing bad things to you because you love them. I don't know what we were going for, but it hasn't really hit the mark for me, because I just feel like, what the fuck? I feel really bad for this girl. I almost feel like she's like, doesn't have enough self-worth. Or like, I don't know what it is, but like, I'm like, you have every right to be upset about this, and like, this is not okay. Like, this is not how a best friend acts, and what makes it really impossible is the fact that her best friend has passed away. So obviously we're gonna look at her as like, and like the way that they talk about her is like, she's literally the love of my life, like the best person, like, but every like time I've seen her, information I've got about her has not really given that back to me. It doesn't feel like she treated her in the same way as she's talking about how she felt about her. Do you know what I mean? Which just icks me out a bit. I'm gonna hit a little spoiler warning because I just don't want to give this away, but it's not too spoilery, but it kind of is. No, it is spoilery, so spoiler warning. So you weren't even gonna tell your friend that you were long time dating, planning on getting engaged to the man who she still proclaims to this day was the love of her life. Whether that is true or like was like she made it into a bigger thing in her head than it was, is kind of low-key irrelevant, because that's how your best friend felt. You were not even going to sit down and have a conversation with her about it. You were going to give her a letter. You weren't even going to give her the dignity of a conversation because it was going to be too hard for you to say. That's not a best friend. You're putting your feelings, your comfortability above them. That's crazy. Crazy. Also, this big love of your life that you've like, you're really gonna hurt your best friend over. Okay, so if he is the love of your life, I guess it's worth it, and I can understand that. He is literally just said to this girl, why don't we get back together? And she's like, no, I don't think that's good. We're just both upset. And he's like, no, you know how I feel about you, like, at least think about it. Okay, well, yeah. Well, yes. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and be Miss like moral high ground, but you are never going to create a scenario for me. And if you are able to, then you are probably the best writer upon this earth. You are never going to create a scenario for me where I'm going to look at a person who has got in a relationship with their best friend's ex, and they've gotten to the point in the relationship where they are planning on getting engaged and they still haven't told their best friend. You're never good. No. It's one thing to fall in love with him. That is a plot. That is like something that I could see happening and we could get through. You getting to the point of that, because it's the same thing as like me and my friend were talking about this, like cheating. It isn't just you went and cheated. You put on your shoes, you brushed your teeth, you looked in the mirror, you got in your car, you turned the car. You made every little decision to get there. You made every little decision to hang out with. Who's hanging out with their best friend's ex-boyfriend? Scary behaviour. And not telling her about it. Oh my god, you're not going to believe what happened last night. I bumped into Drew. You kept that from her from the beginning. Crazy. And what's the point of me even saying all of this? Because she passed away. She is dead. Crazy. Like, we can't even acknowledge the fact that, like, maybe she wasn't a good friend because she's dead. We actually can't, because what's the point? It just hurts more, which I get, but I still have to get this out because it's making me feel bad inside. Like, it's making me feel gross and like icky and and I don't give a shit about the romance going on, because this is just like annoying me and bothering me. I'm like, I don't think she was that good of a friend to you. Like, in this, like, I don't know if maybe the author just hasn't like fleshed it out properly, or if it is just like genuinely like this girl's like not a great friend. Because from Becca, I'm hearing like, she's the love of my life, she's the best friend I've ever had. At the start of the book she says, I've never really had to have any other friends because I've had Ray. But every single instance that I've actually seen of their friendship that isn't just her speaking about her has not been what I would consider to be a really great best friend. Why am I ranting about friendship? We will never know. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this. Overall, enjoyed. I think anything that can get me this passionate, that is like a point in my book, because I don't get passionate about, yes I do, I get passionate about a lot of things, but not about everything. So I'm impressed, and it's getting me thinking and talking, which also I think is a really that like kind of impressive thing, if a book can get me to be like ruminating and stuff, you know what I mean? Now she's putting out the big words. I need to go to bed. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this off and I will be back in the morning. Final comparative thoughts. I think we have a winner. Morning. Good morning. I finished Plot Twist last night, so final thoughts. I already like had my little rant, so we're gonna keep this brief. I feel like the first half was definitely better than the second half. It felt more like thought out, and like it just made sense and it like flowed well. I felt like when we got into the second half there was like a bunch of new stuff being brought in that wasn't really fully, like there was too much brought in the second half that we couldn't really like fully get into, and it was just kind of like loosely placed there, like kind of like really serious topics like that could have been really interesting to really get into. Like, I don't want to tell you any because spoiler warning, but like some really like what could have been really what could have been really interesting topics to get into, and we didn't really do that, so that was kind of annoying. The romance left a lot to be desired, to be honest. Again, I feel like it started off like good. I introduced the guy really, like he seemed really nice, and like I liked him from our first few interactions, but it pretty much just went from them being like friends to friends that like clearly like, kind of fancy each other, to literally in love. Though like we saw that, but we didn't really see them fall in love, so that's kind of annoying. I feel like we got distracted by all these other little things that we didn't even really get into, so what was the point? It was kind of just annoying. And like I was thinking about why I was getting so irritated by like her still like talking about this friend so like positively and only having like positivity and love for this friend when I felt like this friend was not a good friend to them, even though this friend had died. Like, Holly Ann, give her a break. But I think it was because the main character didn't really seem to like actually feel anything deeply, or like for more than like one scene. Like she would say like, I'm really like, I feel really like she found out about whatever it was, and then she's like, I like, this changes my view of her, like I can't look at her the same. But that doesn't really feel like something that we're continuously threading through. Like it was just like an like the emotions didn't feel like complex in the way that like the scenarios were complex. So I think that like I wasn't getting enough like reaction from the book, so some of like I was getting angry like because I wasn't like getting fed like enough like response from the book. It's like when like you're having an argument with someone and then they just take the thing of like, you know, when you're so mad and someone's just like, well, I don't care. That's what it felt like the book was giving me. So yeah, overall I think a 3.75 is fair. I was thinking last night, okay, like a 4. I'm trying to be more accurate with my ratings because I think I do skew higher. Like it's hard to get into the 5 stars, but I skew kind of more towards like the lowest I'll really rate is like a 3-star, which is not really accurate. We'll get to that in a bit. But so yeah, I think a 3.75 is fair because I did enjoy it. Like I had a really good time. I felt like I liked all of like the author stuff, although that kind of dropped off a little bit in the second half. The first half was definitely stronger. But I liked the characters to a certain degree. Overall, it was pretty good. So I think a 3.75 is fair considering like some of the issues I have with it. Moving back to our comparative ratings, I think I've lost my little sheet of paper which said what they were, but I feel like this was a 4.1 something and this was 3.58, I think. So this was rated higher. This was rated lower for me than the Goodreads rating. I think I said a 3-star for this. Honestly, to be really, really truthful with myself, it is more like a 2.5, maybe 2.75 at a stretch, because zero plot. Zero plot. Overall, I definitely preferred this. I don't know if I preferred it because they're very different, but I think that this is slightly better. I do. So Goodreads ratings, yet again, I'm pretty sure the first time I did this, I liked the lower rated one more. So I don't know what that says. Either it says Goodreads ratings are inaccurate, or I just am not like other girls, very different opinions. No, my opinions are usually always the same, so I'm gonna go with the first one. Goodreads ratings maybe just aren't completely accurate, and what can you do? What can you say? So don't base whether you're gonna read a book off of a Goodreads rating or off of the reviews, because I often don't agree with the reviews on Goodreads. Yeah, that's it. We're done now. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed. If you're planning on reading Reckless, then just prepare yourself for nothing. And if you have seen this book and you've been interested by it, maybe pick it up. You might like it. That's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. Please come back next time. Bye.